So I thought I could do a quick vlog for last Saturday, which turned out to be very eventful. This being my first Pride. I believe that I'd walked, not necessarily walked past one, but I'd been near one once, maybe twice. Probably just once a few years ago, but I'd never really been a part of it, seen the parade. Again, really just nothing involved in it. I think I was, again, just near one once, so this is fully the first Pride I was at. I ended up getting up very early, both the Saturday and the Sunday, so over the weekend. I can't remember exactly when I got up. I believe it was about 7:30 or so, and then I ended up leaving the house at about 10:30, just so I could kind of get there early, look about, not have to rush. I looked at a few bookshops on the way there, especially while I was kind of waiting for it to come by when I actually got in the city centre, although I either didn't really find much I was interested in them, or the prices were just too much. Again, some of these bookshops being actually in the city centre. After that, I kind of walked along the Clyde. I was a bit disappointed at first, although I didn't know what I was expecting as I was kind of walking up to it. Before I really got in the city centre or anywhere near the city centre, there was really nothing. There was no flags, no kind of paraphernalia. There was absolutely no kind of clue or idea that anything would be going on. It was just kind of completely normal as it would be any other day, to the point where if I didn't know that Pride was on, I'd have absolutely no idea until I actually saw the thing itself. But yeah, I walked up the usual way I do. I went through Govan. I went over the Clyde in the Science Centre. I was a bit disappointed to see that the water fountain wasn't working, but regardless. And then after I got a good bit down, I did start to see some kind of rainbow flags and stuff, but it was really just a few advertisements. In terms of the first really notable things that I saw, that is when I actually go in the city centre. I noticed there was a lot of people going around with kind of like flags on their backs, wearing them like almost capes. Just flags of all sorts: trans flags, lesbian flags, non-binary flags, asexual flags. Again, of every colour really. So I noticed that, and going towards George Square, which is where I plan to kind of meet up with it, because before that I didn't really know I didn't know the exact direction of it. I knew where it started, I knew where it ended, I knew that it'd be going through George Square, but kind of in between those places I had no idea where it would end up. So I went there. I ended up waiting for probably about half an hour, 40 minutes, probably a bit longer than that. Keep in mind that when I was actually in the city centre, I looked at a few bookshops first, but yeah, I ended up waiting about 40 minutes. There was a small gathering of about 50, maybe 60 people, who again were all wearing kind of pride flags and whatnot. They were listening to music, and again I was a bit disappointed at first, because I'd came in and I'd saw that and I was wondering kind of where is it, when is it going to show up. And as the time went by, I found myself just kind of walking around George Square, looking at some of the statues and stuff. Again, getting almost, I don't want to say bored, but I was starting to feel some disappointment. Although this was very, very rapidly turned around once the actual parade came up. So I was really shocked just by the size of it, the number of people, and really the colourfulness of it. As I said, there was a lot of people wearing kind of different kind of pride flags, rainbow flags, lesbian flags, non-binary flags, trans flags, etc. Really every kind of flag you could imagine. And this was no more shown than in the parade itself, which just by the sheer length of it was massive. I can remember actually coming up on it, and I kind of waited about 2 minutes, watched it pass. Then I wanted to walk to the end of it, and I walked down a very long street, expecting it to turn the corner and for it to end, only to see that again it continued as far as I could see. Once again I walked down that street, and again keep in mind it's moving away from me, so I'm walking in one direction and it's walking another direction, so it's not necessarily that it's twice as fast, but again we're kind of going against each other. So I got to the end of the second street expecting it to end again or sizzle off, and then I looked down the next street, the third street, only to see that again it kind of went as far as I could see. Now by the time that I got to the end of that, it did eventually kind of sizzle off. You could tell that noticeably by the end of it there was less people, it was a bit less enthusiastic, but nonetheless it still continued for quite a bit. And it was really just kind of, I don't know necessarily how to put it to words, exciting, fresh, exhilarating, kind of very wholesome, very nice really, to be amongst so many queer people and just to again see the sheer amount of people that were there, the sheer amount of flags, just the colour of it. Not even really a kind of a rainbow of colour, more of a menagerie of countless colours, countless shades, representing that absolutely everything, the whole community, which again was very kind of wholesome and nice in of itself. After that, I kind of made my way to the front of the crowd. I was looking out for certain things. For example, I saw, there was probably more, but I saw one polyamory flag. I saw the kind of people in the, I believe it's called pup play, kind of letting the dog masks, kind of let men, I presume gay men, kind of shirtless, very attractive, very fit, in the dog mask. So to say the least, that was interesting if nothing else. So yeah, I just kind of walked back to the end of it, and it did take a lot longer to walk to the front of us as it did to the back. This again, it wasn't really going against me in that way. I had to kind of catch up with it, and if I stopped, it wasn't the case that it continued backwards, it just continued forward. But nonetheless, I made my way to the end of it before it sizzled off, or sorry, not sizzled off, but kind of ended. And I got back to the Clyde to find that there was, and this was really the thing that I was looking forward to. To be honest, before I went, the day prior, Friday, when I was kind of looking at it and planning it, I wasn't really all that interested in the parade. I was mainly interested in kind of the stalls, the stands when the parade ended. Although that by far, really by far, was the least interesting bit of it. There was only about 6 stalls maybe, only 2 of which were selling anything. They were all charity stalls, but the 4 really were just charity stalls. They weren't selling anything, they weren't doing anything. And in terms of the 2 that were selling stuff, there was one that had just kind of generic rainbow stuff, kind of rainbow flags, rainbow glasses. Really just boring. Despite being, again, largely gay, I've never really liked the flag, so I had no reason to go there. And then there was another one that was selling kind of pins, badges, different kinds, although even that was disappointing. There was kind of a trans badge, there was a rainbow badge, there was a kind of like a trans / bisexual badge, and a trans / gay badge. So there was only really 4 badges. And when I kind of saw it from my distance, I was kind of like looking over, there was obviously people kind of crowding the stall. There weren't many stalls, so there was a lot of people per stall, specifically this one. Because, again, it was one of the only 2 that was selling anything. And just in terms of again, it looked like there was a lot more. It looked like there was maybe even a polyamory badge, but I'm sure I mixed it up with a bi badge. So yeah, I just kind of walked about. It has a good look just to make sure that there wasn't anything else. And when I couldn't find anything, I just kind of went, you know, there's no point. So I ended up donating actually £20 to the kind of badge stand. I believe the charity was Equality something, I can't remember exactly, but it's obviously specialising in a kind of trans LGBT charity. Don't know exactly what to do, but nonetheless I had £20 in my pocket. I was expecting to kind of split it between different places, but I just kind of stuck it in there and I got 4 badges for it. After that, again, I kind of waited about, and again, this is after the excitement of the actual parade. Again, it was disappointing because after about half an hour, a lot of people sizzled off, they left. By the hour mark, a lot more people had again left. I was kind of still floating about a bit. I was kind of leaving for a few minutes, going back for a few minutes, that kind of thing. By the hour and a half mark, the vast majority of people had left. 2 hours, it was really ended, and that's when I left, because again, at the start of it, when the parade had just finished, it was absolutely jam-packed. There was just so many people, and again, because there was so little people there and it was such a small space, kind of near the Clyde, kind of boxed in with these 6 small stands, you can imagine just how many people there was. So it was disappointing to see that, again, after about an hour or so, just the kind of there for the lack of people. But yeah, nonetheless, thoroughly enjoyed it. I ended up high-fiving someone in a kind of blue-white fursuit. That was fun. Again, the parade itself, I loved it, very exciting. I don't want to end on a kind of bad note in terms of the stands. I was disappointed in them, but overall, I really enjoyed it. I think going forward, I plan to attend and be a much bigger part of any prides in the future. I really wish that I'd started this one at the very start of the parade in George Square. Apparently there was a few speeches, I'm sure there was a few other things there, maybe a stall or two. I don't know, but I'm disappointed that I wasn't a part of that. I didn't really see that. But yeah, nonetheless, despite disappointment at the end of it, thoroughly enjoyed it. After that, I went to a small antique shop. I wasn't really planning on buying anything, but nonetheless, I had a good look about for probably half an hour or so. Then I walked the rest of the Clyde. I kind of floated about for a bit. I got a picture of myself with the badges, and yeah, I just went home. I can't really remember what I did after that, just usual Discord and whatnot. In terms of the books I read, I did a little bit of the Enchanted Library, although that was really it. I was mostly just interested in the Pride stuff, and again, I was there for a good few hours, both in the actual parade, kind of at the stalls, kind of watching stuff. Then I was in the antique shop, I was in a few bookshops, so I was quite occupied. I didn't really have much time for reading or even really listening to anything. But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, on Sunday, I did read a bit more, but mostly I was kind of on Discord for a good bit.